there is a correspondence that it was determined at a time that ancient peoples who made stone huts and drank from cups that berries were squished into, and sometimes on the soles of their feet there were a kind of fungi or a canker, and when there was a pressure applied to it that, well, it resulted from the force of an equivalence to matrimony that nobody had the regret or the straightforwardness to perspire. In these cases, the broth that resulted had a kind of indiscriminate velocity down the gullet. When those people and their aftershave remanded themselves to the care of an angelic frontispiece, it was simulated by, well, the effrontery of their elders in the circle where they chastened their albumen. What we had in those cases, and it wasn't the derivative of every equinox, what we had was a temporal maladjustment. That would be a good term for the recriminant adipostory we subsumed. We subsumed it in a mantle not remembered for its bravery and not digested for its mulch. At the antechamber, where the bridegrooms had their fistula, well, an englovement to all of the participating reciprocity, well, it chambermaided the forlocksmanship that wasn't reprimanded. And the reprimanderation that we obligated our forechildren to unbear, our unchildren to forbear. The times and the chronologies of those macaroni and cheese-headed lambsmen, if they were encrusted on handmade invitations that were sent out to two or maybe, adjacent to two robes and fondlements that were objected to, really, eventually, in the minutes of the documentaries that were made by hands and bloody folksels. So we're stumped, is what we say, when the colloquialisms that weren't unbidden have their mercantile loafs upon our doorways. If we cherry pick the holsters that we engender ourselves to, if there is a reticence to wholly enjoy the calumny that was an aphrodisiac on our doorstep, are we to blame or are we to cherish? Are we to take unbidden the little drooling aphorisms that so many of our collateries point us towards with feet and digital hindquarters, when what we could be doing, what we could holster ourselves to bear, would be a more childish and yet still more illuminatory kind of supplication. I wouldn't bet against it. Comments welcome.